I saw you back in February opening for Britt Taylor at the Burl in Lexington. We connected there, and I've been kind of following along. That was, I think, 8 months ago or something like that. And I think last week or the week before, now you're headlining the Burl, doing shows up and down the Mid-Atlantic, a bit out in the Midwest, a bit down south, road dogging it, but growing the fan base and getting bigger. What's the last year or so been like for you guys? Seems like it's been pretty active.
It's been nothing short of crazy. I think it's been a whole lot of different, a whole lot of new. We're doing tours, like you said, all over now. We were in Iowa and Chicago a couple weeks ago. I've never been to either of those places before, so that was pretty neat. We got to tour with Tommy Prine in July and go up towards Maine. So it's been a whole lot of traveling, seeing a lot of new places, getting to go back and visit a lot of the places that we already have a lot of friends and relationships built. And really just a lot of fun playing music everywhere, honestly.
Noah, does it feel like you're making it yet, or are you still in that we don't know how long this thing will last phase?
It's minute by minute sometimes. And you'll be half asleep in the van and thinking like, you know what, this ain't that bad. I'm laying back playing video games and watching television in a van. And then, you start getting a little sore. And then you're like, you know what, this sucks. And you're really making me mad. And I hate the way he's driving. Yeah. And then you stop at a Sheetz and you get some 2-for-1 hot dogs and it's all back to normal again. So it's kind of, you roll with the punches and you kind of just learn not to get too comfortable with anything, including how you feel at any given moment. So if I get the feeling like I made it or like it's time to call it, I usually think that'll probably change here in about 5 minutes.
That's a good attitude to have. I will say that good on you guys, and it's good to be young, because I can tell you right now, this old fat guy would not be able to make it more than a couple of days on the road. So do it while you can. So just out of curiosity, I mean, I know you guys have been together for a while, and we'll talk a little bit more about the history of the band here in a minute, but is the end goal here, do you have an end goal to just be huge stars to make a living playing music, or what's the end game, or at least the mid-range game for the band right now?
I think the goal, at least for everybody that we've settled on for right now, is we want to be able to do this and make this our living and not have to rely on anything else to provide our needs in ways of a job. But yeah, we want to play as many shows as we can, and personal goals, I mean, we all have artists that we want to play with and share stages with and open up for. But really the main goal, I think, is to just make this our main thing.
Yeah, I think along with that, the ability to be able to make it our main thing and not have it be at the expense of other things is I think a short-term goal is to make it our main thing, like our day jobs, and we're slowly getting there. But the long-term goal is to have it be the day job, and that means that you still are able to walk away from some things. Like right now we kind of you can't always walk away from things, and
yeah.
So there's short-term and a long-term steps to that. Like I think in the long term it would be nice to be able to call this the main gig, but also that doesn't put like a strain on time at home necessarily, or
Sure.
as much.
Well, and I got to ask you this, because you've recently kind of encountered a little bump in the road, because I know Caden, you guys recently announced his quote unquote retirement from the band, and so that was one of your 6 members, a little attrition there. Tell us a little bit about how that came about and where everybody sits with it.
Yeah, and I think Caden was he was willing to give it a shot. And, this past year, to really put an emphasis on like how much the band changed just in terms of like the scale of the operation. We made an LLC or whatever within like the first month or 2 months of like playing our first or couple live shows in that 2023 year. And that whole year we might've played like, what was it? 30 something shows? Yeah. And we played more shows than that in like, I think in 2 months, several times this year. Yeah. And so it ended up being really demanding, a lot, at least in terms of what we were used to. And we were all working, upwards of 20 hours a week. Several of us working 40-hour plus weeks, or 40 hours a week plus. And I think that, it was kind of a test for all of us. I was a little worried that I was going to hate it by the end of it. And so I think that Caden just ultimately decided that, being gone that much ultimately wasn't for him. And I think, after getting a tour under our belt, I think we all, like, obviously, we decided that it was for us, but I think we all kind of got it. You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of like, I can see how if you're not like kind of a little nuts, you might not like this. And Caden is otherwise a very sane and rational person. So I think that is maybe why he just wasn't cut out for slamming in a van with, 6, 7 other idiots and, performing to sometimes 3 people in a bar. And so we ended up, kind of understanding, and he really gave it an earnest try. I mean, he went all the way up to Portland, Maine with us and back. And drove all the way back for us while Brett and I just slept in the back. So he was a trooper every step of the way. And he really gave it a shot. But I think ultimately he just knew that it wasn't for him.
And I think also, unlike maybe some of the rest of us, at least myself, Caden actually enjoyed what he did in college. And so he's still finishing that up right now, but he really enjoys his degree in that. And after getting to test this out for a while, he's decided he preferred that job and that lifestyle, which absolutely.
Well, again, you guys are at that age where it's a great time to get it out there and get it out of your system, or figure out if it's even in your system.
Yeah.
And so, good for him for being able to, take a step back. That I'm sure takes a lot of bravery and vision on his, his part. And then it takes a lot of acceptance and understanding from you guys. So glad that you were able to get through that first little bump in the road without, too much strife and stress. So